YHM here, and I am going to delve into a little bit of a different area than you've probably known me for. I am going to look at the Papa Bear, the Mama Bear, and the Baby Bear of YHM Suppressor mounts. I think these are called generally Y mounts in the industry. Y being more of a question, as in why are they so large and why are they so ugly and why are they so ungodly? But more so Y standing for Yankee Hill Machine Company, which is the maker of the mount used to mount their line of suppressors in a quick detach or semi-quick detach, and I'll go into that in a second, type of system. Now, there's several lengths. I've got three of the common lengths here. There's five, as far as I am aware, or five different sizes. Now, the 30 caliber mount is here, and it is huge. And let me go ahead and zero my little scale here, switch to inches, and I will tell you that this mount is 3.112, so it's over 3 inches long. Now, most of that is actually the flash suppressor part, and some of it is the threaded portion in the rear that it goes over the barrel, so it really doesn't make your gun stick out quite 3 inches, or your gun quite 3 inches longer. In fact, I can measure the depth here. If you give me a second, I can measure it. And that depth is coming out as at 5/8. So, wow, exactly. It does stick out. If you want to subtract 5/8 from the previous reading, it does stick out 2.5 inches. I hope my math is good on that one. So it's a huge mount. This is the 30 caliber mount. This is the 223 mount. Let me try and get that right. I'm peeking around the camera to do it here, so bear with me. So it's looking like exactly a 1/2 inch shorter. So 223 mount, and it's got a 22 caliber hole through it. This one has a 30 caliber hole, and this is the 9mm mount. Now, they don't call it a Y mount; they call it their Wraith mount. But you'll see in a minute, it's essentially identical. And got to get right between the teeth there, and you see that is a full 1/2 inch shorter, or a 1/2 inch shorter than the 223 mount. So when you look at them side by side, you can see the 9mm and the 30 caliber mount are significantly different in length. But if you cover up the length, or the portion that sticks out, you can see that they're really quite close. So what I want to do is I want to measure them to see if I could use this to mount a mount on a 223 rifle, and therefore, instead of having it stick out this far, I'll save a 1/2 inch and a little bit of weight on the length, because I've got a pistol upper right now that I'm putting that on, waiting on my suppressor and my Form 1 for the full length, or I'm sorry, for the short length SBR, but currently it's on a pistol receiver. That came from the factory. I don't know what kind of goop that is, but okay. So the mounts themselves are very similar. This is their current production mount. They've eliminated the goofy looking fluting here, and I think it looks better, easier to clean. What I don't like is that I don't like the 5 prong. I'll go into that in a minute, but It's also got these little extra teeth here, and that's good for, you know, putting up against a door to shoot through, you know, to shoot off the locks, or putting up against a prisoner to guard him. But, you know, these are range toys for me. Hope I don't have to guard any prisoners. And what I mean by they went to, it used to be for, and the purpose behind that is if you have a chain link fence, barbed wire, or something like that, you set the barbed wire right there and you shoot through it. You know, that's the purpose behind the notches on some flash suppressors. It's essentially a barbed wire cutter. Now, it's an expedient. You have 30 rounds, you basically have 30 chunks of barbed wire cut. And, you know, rebar or something, you know, something else of that ilk, you can also do. That would be nice to be able to have that. But I don't plan on shooting any barbed wire or rebar anytime soon. It's just, you know, kind of a neat, a neat thing that you don't get on this, the Wraith one. Of course, you know, I doubt you'll be able to shoot rebar with 9mm, but you could shoot barbed wire with it, I guess. But it doesn't, you know, it's not symmetrical. It's not even numbers. On this one, I guess you could balance it on those teeth there, you know, if it were barbed wire or something like that, and get it to work, but not quite as much utility. So let's get down to the measurements. What I'm here to see is if this mount, I'll get the 223 out of the way because these have the similar thread. They actually changed the thread by making it, they gave you less turns to put the can on. They realized that this was just as strong. So I'll move this out of the way to keep you from having to be confused. Okay, so the biggest dimension we're going to look at here is that one. So that is the outside of their thread, 0.1027 approximately, or 1.027. And then we'll look at the 1.027. So identical there. And you'll see a theme. I've already basically done this, so I know what the answer is. But we'll go ahead and measure the pitch there as it be 1.89, 1.90, and again, well, it's I'm not quite on it there. Okay, 1.89, 1.89, 1.89, 1.87. Okay, so those are identical. I've already measured them. I knew that they were identical before I went into it. 64 thousandths and 64 thousandths. So we already knew they were identical. So the thread itself is identical, and the part of the suppressor that actually bears on the flash suppressor is right about there. You'll see on a lot of the used ones is a ring. Let's see if I can get it. So right about there, that little surface there is where it bears. The only area this suppressor really differs in is right at that point. You could see, you know, that area right there. That's what I'm most worried about. And if I get a reading off of this, it's 0.899, 0.90. And then on this one, 0.888. So 10 to 12, sorry, 0.888, 10 to 12 thousandths difference. And that has me a bit concerned that they may not be the same exact design, but I'm willing to risk it. So those are the 3 Yankee Hill suppressor slash suppressor mounts, flash suppressor slash suppressor mounts that I do have. And if you want to extrapolate here, they actually have one in between. So it's a 1/4 inch longer than this, that they call the 30 caliber LT mount, and that's for 308 and 300 blackout calibers. And then they have a bigger suppressor than this for 338. So the big bore, this one is rated up to 300 Winchester Magnum, maybe 300 Weatherby Magnum. This is rated to 223 on 10.5-inch barrels. This one is for pistol calibers. I want to use this one on a 223. If the thread pitch matches, I'll go ahead and try to use that. And again, rated for 10.5-inch barrels. So you don't want to put it on anything shorter. That is the Yankee Hill Phantom Flash Suppressor mount system. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, it's kind of a very limited class here of people who are in states and localities where they can own suppressors and silencers, whatever you want to call them, and those people that have the financial funds and the patience to wait 9 months to a year to even longer in some cases to do the paperwork and actually get it in. And suppressors are not inexpensive. Beyond that, they're you have to pay a $200 tax to the government, and then there's all kinds of restrictions on what you can do with it once you get it. But what you get in the end is something cool to play with. And if you want to go out and it's addictive. If you want to go out and shoot suppressed without hearing protection on in the forest, you won't bother your neighbors. If you want to go hunting and if you get up to civilization, people complain about the noise, that kind of thing, then it's a great way to go. There will be more to follow. I don't have the suppressors. They're what we call in the business. They're incarcerated. They're in jail, in BATF jail, which means that they're sitting at my dealer, waiting on my paperwork to be approved from the federal government for those are Form 4s for my suppressors, and I'll go into the other ones in later videos. This is for a Yankee Hill 30 caliber titanium suppressor, about a 15-ounce suppressor that is classed all the way up to 300 Winchester Magnum, and I do intend to shoot them on a 300 Winchester Magnum. You still get the supersonic crack, but man, that's a loud gun. So I want to do something to suppress it. This is Ryan Ham here. If you've enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, favorite, share, comment down in the comments section. I do this for free, so please give me some support if you liked it, and thank you very much. Goodbye.